Cool. Yo, back in the house. I can't believe I'm sweating. I'm in the Pacific Northwest and I'm sweating right now. This is crazy. But I'm live on Instagram with BraveBoy, and here he is right here. Boom. So I'm live with BraveBoy. He's
Yeah, man.
yeah. So
We
yeah.
back. We
So
back. We back.
went from being a soca artist, then my boy went and got his JD, right? Or
My LLB.
LLB,
LLB from
right?
University of London.
University of London, became a lawyer, then went back and
People
became
tuning.
a trap show artist.
Soul Boy, what's going on? We have people tuning in there. They have a legend tuning in there, you know. That's Colin Soul Boy Williams.
Boom. Colin, let's get you on here. Let's, you know what I mean? Let's spread the word. I'm in Washington, getting all the soca and the trap soul and the Trini vibes out here, you know what I mean? Making people realize all the talent, you know?
Nah, bro, I love what you guys doing, and I can't wait to visit Seattle because I have a friend of mine. I think I connected you guys. Michelle, she's a artist from Seattle.
Yes,
And
yes.
young food in Palm's Kitchen.
Yeah. Man,
She said it was good. She had
yeah, they got it. They got some good stuff going on, man. I got another Caribbean fusion place called Paseo. We've been rocking together and trying to come up with some cool stuff as well. You know, all around now. So this year, I was gonna put on the first like festival, like a Soca festival, a Seattle Soca festival. That's kind of what I'm trying to do, and get Caribbean artists up here to start getting in these festivals. Kind of like because if you notice the reggae festivals, right?
right.
I've been so before this I was in Alaska.
Alaska.
And yeah, I was out in Alaska dropping, dancehall, hip hop, and soca, and mashing up, parties and stuff, and doing weddings like really far out in the middle of nowhere.
Wow,
Right?
bro, that's cool though. That's different.
Different shit,
You had soca pumping in Alaska. You had carnival and
yeah,
soca pump. Yeah.
dude. I mean, I started before podcasts became a thing. You know, I had a website called Alaska DJ Radio.
Right.
And I started doing interviews and live DJs and stuff, on there, and it was doing well. I got to interview some, cool people, and then I actually brought up Taurus Riley together with some Polynesian folks up there. We brought up
Okay.
bunch of poly artists and Taurus Riley and the Black Soul Band. So we flew 11 Jamaican artists up to Alaska.
That's insane, bro. What was life like in Alaska being like a Caribbean person? What's life like there? Because you don't really hear much about Alaska.
Dude, it's extreme. It's either you're too cold or or the light, it's too much light all the time, or it's dark all the time, so
Okay.
there's like the summer solstice and the winter solstice, right? The
Right.
summer solstice is when it starts it's like bright as heck. The sun doesn't really go down, it goes down for like a few minutes at like 1 a.m. in the morning and comes right back up.
Oh, that's insane. So and then what was the idea? What was the party scene there in Alaska, or the club scene?
Well, when I was there was this place called Chilkoot Charlie's, and
Right.
that's where they have like they changed up now, but they had like Russian cigars in these little glass cases, and it was like a room with a bunch of rooms, right?
Right.
Where you could go and and partying, right? They had rock, hip hop, and EDM most of the time, right?
Right.
So sometimes if you're lucky, or before that, well, so sometimes if you're lucky, you get to play EDM, and sometimes we had reggae nights. So we play
Right.
reggae and soca. Me and my boy DJ Militant from St. Thomas.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we was putting on all the reggae parties, and I would be dropping like I drop like some soca EDM shit on the EDM
How did
floor,
that go? How did the
dude.
Alaskans? How did you react to
Man,
that?
people was loving that shit. Look, so our music, Caribbean music, soca music, that shit could rock anywhere. We don't promote it. Like Trinidad don't promote it enough. You see what I'm saying? Like Barbados does.
Right.
Like I've had people from Barbados call me and say, "Hey, we want to link with you because the government is putting money behind this, and
Exactly.
you know
Exactly.
what I mean?"
I,
So
I think I mean we have these discussions all the time in Trinidad. I think that I don't know if it's because we had oil before and we
yeah,
got spoiled by our economy based on oil, but the government generally does not invest a lot of money in culture. And I feel
unfortunately,
unfortunately, and if you see the budgets of like the Ministry of Culture and like the agencies here responsible, it's not much. Like I getting to know people on that end of things, I realize they don't really have much money to work with.
yeah,
So the entire industry doesn't grow, and then we kind of get comfortable with the carnival diaspora business model, where
right.
it's Trinidad Carnival, and then the artists will go to Crop Over or this carnival or Notting Hill or whichever carnivals around the world Labor Day. But now with COVID,
It's
you know what I
locked
mean?
up.
It's like a
Yeah,
lot of the artists in Trinidad have no choice but to look at streaming. Like the money is streaming. Like soca artists now have to look at streaming income. Soca DJs now have to continue going live and doing the donations and I think it's for us it's probably a wake up call to look at other sources of income because for me dabbling
definitely.
in EDM so much, I've learned so much from the EDM industry about those things like streaming, publishing. They don't play. Yes, they
Right.
are heavily based on touring, but I've met people who just live off of streaming. Like
Wow.
they're living in LA, and they make all their money from streaming. So it's an interest. It's very interesting.
You know, I think I was reading someone's post in Trinidad, and they were saying that there is something like 3 million or 300, like just in America there was like 300,000 people from Trinidad, or like a close relative from Trinidad, right?
Right.
300,000, and then that's not even counting like second generation, third generation, or whatever. You know,
Right.
so if you that's how if you were to say an exponential on that, you're talking, there's probably an easy 3-4 million just Trinidad alone. We're not even talking about the other Caribbean islands
That's right. Right.
people in America, right? And then you got Britain and all these places, in Britain and UK, Russia, dude. All Trinidad has to do is get behind it and promote it, and really, get into the marketing of it. Like the target marketing and putting out ads. I mean, I always see ads like all the way in Alaska. I would see ads for go to Barbados or go to
Jamaica.
St. Lucia, or, you know what I mean?
Jamaica, I think, is number one at
Jamaica, yeah.
promoting. Jamaica is a brand, you know, and
Oh yeah,
they've created Jamaica as a brand, and I think even when I travel, I mean, I've only been really around America and recently London, Amsterdam, and stuff, and people know of Trinidad more in Europe, I would say, but still they think that the Caribbean is one place. They think that's literally, they think it's like America, where you can drive from you can drive
right.
from Trinidad to Barbados to Jamaica, and they can't understand why it's so expensive to go from Trinidad to Jamaica. I mean, imagine it's cheaper to go to Miami from Trinidad than Trinidad to Jamaica or Jamaica to Trinidad.
Wow.
You know, so but
That's crazy.
But I don't know, like I feel like especially in EDM, the culture is similar to soca in terms of the energy of the music, I should say. It's very similar. But I think EDM is a festival-based genre, right? So it's based on all these festivals. And I feel like soca could kind of follow the same business model, but then
what is Trinidad? What is Trinidad? What is Trinidad Carnival? A festival, right?
It's a festival, exactly, like the fets of festivals. You know,
we already put on the biggest show as far as Dimaskra,
right?
And all this different stuff. But because it's so decentralized, there's not enough money being concentrated in one area, and managed properly, where we could say, okay, look, outside of Carnival, we're gonna get all the cash plus companies to join us, and we're gonna put on a huge festival just based on soca, or just based on calypso, and have multiple stages, and then invite everybody else to come and be on a different stage. You know what I mean? To be on the mini stage, while soca is on the big stage.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think these guys are good. Big up for TT. I see for TT tuned in there. That they are promoting Trinidad culture a lot.
Nice.
They should definitely check them out.
I'll check them out.
I don't know if you know about soca, the party soca, SOAKA.
I think I've seen it somewhere.
You've heard it, right? So some friends of mine are behind soca, and I'm seeing them turning soca into exactly what you're talking about there. Like this year, it was a 3-day festival. It was a 3-day festival, I think, just before Carnival. And the first night was like pan. So like you heard a pan side play on one stage, then they went back to the party, and a pan side again, and they turned it into, they use the business model and the infrastructure of a festival for pan.
Right.
And it was real cool. Like this is the first time since Panorama I've seen a bunch of young people really appreciate pan. So I think they're gonna do it. And even for the main festival, they did the stage like how Tomorrowland stage will look. They put a lot of effort in the stage. So of everybody from Trinidad, whoa, what's this saying? The altar say where Marcus right there. Y'all not seeing me? But I think they're the ones to do it. And I think that it's needed. I think that the Caribbean should do a festival internally, like where we only have Caribbean. Like we have people like Prince Swanee, who know the local dancehall and stuff, right? So these fellas touring the islands and performing to like 10,000 plus people, and they are like underground artists,
Right.
And they're doing bigger numbers than soca artists. So it's like, it's very interesting. But I think the issue, Nelly, what's he saying? I think the issue is coming together. I feel it's the biggest issue with the Caribbean, but more so Trinidad. I will talk Trinidad music industry is very divided. Like there are the soca artists who live in their own world, right? And they're the underground artists who live in their own world. That's people who do hip hop, rock, anything that's not necessarily playing on the radio all the time. And then now there's a movement of Trinidad dancehall artists who are becoming mainstream, but because they sing a lot about guns and violence, I think that the mainstream soca industry don't necessarily want to associate with them per se. But Soca Monarch, they performed at Soca Monarch, so that was a big deal. But there's no concert you could go to, and the headliners are Marshall, Prince Swanee. There's this guy in gospel called Jaronis. Like there's no one concert where you can get the best of Trinidad in all genres. It doesn't exist. People have tried it before. I remember Johnny Sung and them did Bacchanal Wednesday with different stages, and so that actually they were the first people I ever saw do it. There was soca on one stage, as in like Marshall, Kess, Destra, And then on the side stage, there was 5 Miles to Midnight and some other bands. I performed with 5 Miles to Midnight. Then there was another stage with EDM DJs. So it was done before, but I think Johnny Song and them were before their time with it. You know, like I think that they had a lot of vision back then, but Trinidad wasn't ready for it. You know, I think we get in there right now. It's getting
Was that in
close,
like was that like in 2010 or 20 like actually no like 2012 kind of thing?
I think so. Yeah. It
Yeah.
was done Shagga Ramos.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
No, and that was the first time I've ever seen anything like that. And I think that Nelly, you remember that, right? Right. My friend Nella, she definitely remember
That's
that.
like with that was like with in what do you call it? O2 Park or something like that, right? No, in O2
I
Park.
think it was Boyne Marine. Nelly, was it in Boyne Marine? I think there's this venue called Boyne Marine. That they used to do events there, and I don't know. I think that it was just before its time. I think that we need to do more events like that, mixing.
Let me get my chair real quick.
Yeah, no say. Anybody tuned in? I've seen a few people tuned in. You can tell people are chatting at my brethren. Ronaldo, who is in Seattle, flying the flag for Trinidad and Tobago, promoting our culture. He's doing soca parties in Seattle. I've seen the footage. All these Seattle people just having fun. What do they think about soca? Like your patrons, the patrons to your events. What are their thoughts on Caribbean culture and soca?
You know, well, the first thing they're always like, "What is this?" You know,
Right.
Every time, you know, they're like, "What is this? Oh my gosh, this is so cool."
Yeah.
You know, so you know they automatically know that it's not reggae. You know,
Right.
So they're just like, what the hell is this? You know.
What do they like about it, and what do they not like about it? And that's a real question. What do people who have no Trini friends, they're just
Right.
let's say just white Americans from America, hearing soca for the first time, what do they like about it? What do they not like about it?
I think they like the upbeat and you know the upbeat rhythm,
Right.
and all the different instruments, you know, and the way that the instruments are aligned. I think that's the first thing that they like, and the festive feel that they get from it.
Right.
Honestly, I've never met a white person that said that they didn't like soca.
Okay, interesting.
Usually the people that I run into that would say that they don't like soca are like people from our own Caribbean diaspora.
For real?
You know? For real.
They're running away from
Yeah, like
just interesting.
like people would, you know, like I remember playing in this one club, this one Jamaican club, and you know, people were like, you know, boo, you know, thumbs down and stuff, right?
Right.
So, you know what my response was on the mic?
What's that?
If you don't like soca music, you're a batty boy.
Well, you know what's interesting, Ronaldo? I went to Jamaica once, and I was able to see soca is really popular in uptown Jamaica. It's considered like uptown music or premium music. So like the people who have money in Jamaica. So Jamaica is more, I would say upper middle class, rich people. They love soca. And I remember when I was there, everybody asked me if I knew Kes. I mean, I know Kes, right? So it was like literally anytime I said I was from Trinidad and Tobago, and because I have dreads, everybody was like, you know Kes? And I realized how I spoke to him about it, and you know, like he's big. Like that's another interesting thing about soca as well. Soca artists, like for example, somebody like Destra, who isn't as popular as she used to be here in Trinidad. She is so popular in other parts of the Caribbean, you know.
I've seen her put on shows, and I think she's one of the top performers as versatility and marketability, right? Because she can come in and sing some other genre stuff, like she could sing some Beyonce stuff, and you really like, and that's the thing with me, right? When I'm putting on an event, I really have to think like a first mover, right? Or because you really have to dig into your marketing that you learned 10 years ago. I'd be like, okay, in this market, I'm trying to change people, right? I'm trying to, where's my hyper market at? Okay, so now I gotta figure out how do I take what's already going on and infiltrate, not alienate people. So all this different stuff that you gotta take into consideration to change the minds of the people that you're trying to infect with this new soca, with this new type of genre, and it's really easy for some genres for you to get volunteers and stuff to help you build that, especially in EDM, and even you know what I've seen? I've seen roots, just roots on the West Coast. They totally have their own genre of reggae, and it's called roots.
Oh, really?
And they put on these huge roots events. I mean, only Cali. It's called Cali Roots. They got Cali Roots. They got Hawaiian reggae.
I know about Hawaiian reggae. I've seen that. Right.
And they doing better numbers than 95
Jamaican reggae artists.
Yeah. They blowing it out of the water, and they just singing with a Jamaican accent, and they playing one drop. That's it.
Yeah, no, I've seen that. I've seen Abba Brethren here. I don't know if he's still tuning in now. My boy Styles from Jamaica. He's a top artist from Jamaica. And if he's still that, he's hype man from, I don't know if you know Euphoric Hype Man. He put me on to Hawaiian reggae because he really likes reggae music. And it was interesting to see like these artists are in terms of how many music markets there are in the world. So for me, it's been kind of tricky because while I had popular songs in Trinidad, I always wanted to explore more. And as you can see, I mean, I know we've been following each other for a while on social media, but I've been exploring EDM market, and then I went to London recently to explore like grime and drum and bass and that kind of stuff. And now I'm exploring the Latin market. And for me, as a person from Trinidad, I feel like we don't do that kind of exploring. As a Caribbean person, we kind of comfortable with our community and sticking within our community and doing business within our community, which is fine. Everybody's different. But for me personally, I've seen what's out there, and that excites me, and I want to explore it more, And I think that will help the music grow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
no, exactly, Nelly.
I think,
my friend is saying we stay
I think we need to get rid of we got a lot of biases, and we got to
You mean like each island towards each other? Like, you mean like how you said the Jamaicans didn't like when you played soca?
Right. So I think we need to remove the biases from our music and, the different places that we want to go and adventure into. Even, how we explore using, some of the beats or, some of the rhythms that they got in these different, like, for instance, the Brazilian music right now. That's blowing up.
Right. Yeah.
You see, and that's what Major Lazer does, right?
Exactly.
They jump into every upcoming market.
Exactly, and Diplo, a lot of people don't know this, but Major Lazer first, before they went to Jamaica. I mean, I've heard that story that they came to work on some stuff here. It didn't work out for several reasons, but what they did is they find the emerging, the underground music in different regions, and they just capitalized on it, you know. So for me, I've kind of been placed in some networks where I have access to exactly those things that Major Lazer had access to, because of EDM, I now
Nice.
I've been working with producers and DJs literally across the globe, you know. I'm working with people from Taiwan, Romania. See, somebody's all islands are biased towards each other. For example, here in St. Lucia, they pride themselves that the best music comes out of here compared to
Come
Trinidad.
on up. Yeah, compared
There's
to.
my friend Nelly. She's she's Trini, but she lives in St. Lucia now, and she's given some perspective. And I think, yeah, Nelly's right. Like, we don't really have togetherness as a Caribbean. We don't see ourselves as one.
As
And there
one,
are
yeah.
over 20 million people in the Caribbean. So if it
And
is one artist, bust big in the Caribbean, as in all of the Caribbean is behind this artist, an
yeah,
artist could go platinum, double platinum, just without leaving the Caribbean. But because there's that, I don't like you because you are from this country, and I think it has to do with our governments as well. I think in
right.
terms of CARICOM and in terms of bad trade arrangements, intergovernment wise, I think it affected culture. So I know Barbados and Trinidad have a strange relationship because of that. Jamaica
Because
and
of the flying
Trinidad,
fish.
yeah, exactly. I didn't know that. And then I'm sure like Nelly could probably give us some perspective on St. Lucia and like what they think of Trinis. But I'm sure St. Lucians probably think of Trinis as whatever. A lot of people think Trinidadians are spoiled because of oil. People think that we didn't struggle for
Right.
anything. People think that we, Jamaicans have this kind of rebel revolt spirit about them, and it kind of has to do with the slaves that settled in Jamaica.
Yeah.
It goes so back historically, and
Someone said Lucians hate Trinidad.
St. Lucians hate Trinis. Nelly, why do St. Lucians hate Trinidadians? What's the main thing? Like, how real can you be about that? What can you tell us? Because it's interesting to hear insider, because for me,
Yeah.
we lack in economic power and cultural power as Caribbean people, because it still is Trini culture, Jamaican culture,
Yes.
And I would say soca and dancehall are the two things that kind of help change that. But dancehall is dominated by Jamaicans. And
Definitely.
soca,
I mean,
yeah,
so the big example that I see with that dividedness that
right.
is so horrible is that it allows other countries to come in and just put some money in front of somebody and steal. I shouldn't even say steal, but
Culturally appropriate.
well,
Yeah.
they know the business side of it, right? So it's easy for them to come and say, "Yo, make me these beats or whatever," or come to France and make these tunes for me. Let me sing on it, and then boom,
Yeah.
they got a
Watch
they
it.
got a big
Yeah.
album. You know what I mean? They're selling millions, right? But
Exactly.
if someone from Trinidad, or vice versa, someone from Jamaica or someone from Lucia or Barbados were to come looking for the big producers to do the same thing, they might not have such an easy time, to get what they need, to make that big tune because it's too close to home, right?
Yeah, no, and I think that can you hear me? You can hear me there, Ronaldo?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you
Yes.
hear me? Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I
I can hear
think
you.
that I saw it for myself when my friends Bad Royal came here. As soon as people saw that they had a relationship with Diplo and Major Lazer and they were working with all these big people, because when they came here, I would take them around. My phone was blowing up. Everybody's like, "Where are you all? We want to meet them," And
Yeah.
there are people here who do EDM, like producers here, and the artists wouldn't even talk to them in Trinidad, So exactly
Right.
what you said, like we wait until people get big before we work with them. And I can speak for myself, like myself and Young Rod, we had this popular genre of music and still have called trap so. And I remember at the height of it, there was soca artists who would see me, you know, backstage or in public and be like, "We love what you're doing. We got to work together. Let's do something." So we were always like, "Yeah, well, here's our number. Let's work on something." And then as soon as Carnival comes, and they forget about us. You know?
Yeah.
And
I got a question. I got a good question for you.
sure.
What is really the difference between the trap soul that you guys already brought out versus the zest music that we're hearing right now?
Well, I mean, one is I think zest is dancehall, straight up. Okay, so trap soul is hip hop influence, like trap Atlanta, trap hip hop influence, and
Right.
the zest music is just basically that is dancehall influence. So we were doing, we were mixing a few genres actually, because it's almost like I was like a raga soca artist, like a Bungie Garlin, KMC,
Yeah.
Clan, well, yeah, Bungie, KMC, and then Ruds was doing more like rapso, like he's like the evolution of rapso, and then Mavon was making trap beats. But what the genius and what Mavon was doing is that he was using specific instruments and high tones, because you know trap became very dark after. So he would use
like a trap drum machine kind of thing. Like he would use like
most of the synthesizers. So like the high tones in Nah Boy is the same kind of high tones that may be used in like a soca song, and like you know soca has this kind of euphoria about it. So that's what he did, and he found a way to do that in the beat, and then Ruds and I would put our style on it. So I would flow like a raga soca artist, and Ruds will flow like the definition of a Trini rapper is what he was doing, you know. And I think that made it unique. But with the dancehall artists in Trinidad, I think yes, they do. A lot of them have their own different vibe, but it's dancehall, you know. It's definitely different from Jamaican dancehall, but it's dancehall, you know. It's dancehall talking about Trini stuff, relatable Trinidadian stuff, and it's dope. But it's just
dope.
It's very dope. I just think it's two different things, and I think what's similar is we both come from the underground, as in we both come from being nobodies, as in the zesting artist or trap soul artist or local hip hop artist or whatever. We both know what it's like to have nobody listen to music, to
I think that
fast forward to have it on rotation on the radio.
I think there's a good chance that, and you've probably seen it already, that the Trinidad dancehall is going to get bigger than 90% of the soca artists. And let me tell you why.
Yeah, let me hear you.
Why is because there's more money behind it. There's more independent money behind it. Whether it's, you know, it doesn't matter where the money comes from, right? But the symbolism behind it is what a lot of the young Trinidadians and, you know, even like subconsciously Trinidadians, you know, look at wealth as, you know, something that, you know, you could slap my mother in her face. If you have $1 million, I might forgive you, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I'm not saying personally, but that's a kind of thinking, right?
Yeah.
And
hold on 1 second. Yeah. And I think that it's interesting, as I say, you said it rightfully. The capital investment in the Trinidad dancehall artists, I think definitely is contributing to their success, as well as the fact that what they're singing about is so relatable. It is a reflection of what's happening in the country, whether we like it or not. Me personally, getting older and more mature as a man, sometimes I hear the content and I like it, but I really feel a bit uncomfortable hearing about
but look,
the parity bus route and that
look
stuff.
Look at this. Yeah. That's because it's close to home, right? But look at this. You tuned into Bounty Killer and Beanie Man, right?
Right.
People all over the world, they have, you know, 400,000 people tune in from all over the world, from ghettos all over the world, from any influence, you know, that bring that feeling of I'm oppressed and that rebellion, you know what I mean? That rebellion. So just that right there you know, if they could package it and sell it the same way, just like hip hop, and you know what I mean, all that stuff is easy to sell because of the amount of content, you know, relating to reality because of the oppression of, you know, most of the people in the world are oppressed by something, you know what I mean?
And I
So
think what where they make, because I know I am not as close to the Zessin artists
yeah,
as I am to other genres, but I have friends who are behind the movement, and I
right,
spoke to them about it. And one is a really good friend of mine who I went to school with, and I was telling him that eventually they may have to switch it up. They can't continue talking about the guns and the killing. People are gonna get
right,
fed up, you know. And he
yeah,
was saying that's on the way, as and they're gonna start to mix up the content more. So I think exactly what you're saying. Because I'll share a story. I was in London, and I was staying by my friend Michael Mulida, and when I left his apartment, now Mikey isn't living in a Caribbean neighborhood. He lives in it's a very multi-ethnic neighborhood, and it's a lot of immigrants from like Somalia, or you know, like from Poland, or like, just from everywhere except the Caribbean. And
yeah,
I remember the first day I was there, I left the house and I heard Rion's song. Somebody ponging Rion's song. Rion is an artist from Trinidad who's a brethren of mine. And this guy, I stopped him, I flagged him down. I was so confused, right? And I asked him, I was like, "You from Trinidad?" And he was like, "No, he's from London, but he just like Trinidad, so he listens to Prince Swanee and Jelano and all these guys." And
yeah.
that's when I realized how far Trinidad dancehall is reaching, because dancehall is I think exactly what you're saying. If somebody outside of Trinidad could package it, help them package it and market it, it has, and I think I can, in terms of the similarities between Trapso and the Zessin music, I think we were kind of stuck there, as in I would travel and I would play the Naboy and the pumping for people away, but they couldn't relate to it, you know?
But
They,
the
they
difference, the difference, Brave Boy, I
right.
can tell you, right? Part of it is because, you know, what what high school did you go to in Trinidad? What
Me,
high school did you go to?
I went St. Mary's College, CIC.
See, you went to
Right,
CIC, right?
right,
Think about this. Think about somebody from Malik or somebody from Compre
right.
doing the same thing that you're doing right now with this, you know, nice music, but they just giving you, you know, they're telling you about, you know, Mayfair when they used to bust somebody's head in
Right,
Fatima Mayfair. You know what I mean?
right,
Or when they got into a fight with, you know, with some cutlass, you know,
right.
some tree line. You know what I mean? Tree line chop you up by the savannah. You know what I mean? Like the amount of people
That can
that can
relate to.
relate it, that could
Well,
relate to that.
yes. I would say the different. Okay, so I think we achieved it. You know, I think that, I'll be honest. Like, Young Rod and I had fans from all areas of Trinidad and Tobago, and I'll give
Yeah.
you a funny story. Sometime I was lineman outside. Remember Club Zen, right? I don't know if you remember Zen nightclub, where Akon, the very popular, right?
Yeah.
So sometime I was by the burger lady, and
Oh
about
wait,
five.
somebody is saying why does it have to, it doesn't have to be packaged by anybody else outside. You know, that's not what we're saying. We're just saying that you could package it properly, you know, and get it in the right hands. Yeah, that's what we're saying. We're not saying that somebody from America got to package it.
Yeah, it could be some. I mean, let's be real here. Let's have a real conversation. There's nobody in Trinidad that has the expertise, capital, and drive to run a label on for international standards, right? It's one or the
Right.
other. It's either somebody has the capital, whether it is legally or illegally, right? Um,
I think people
Somebody
got the
might have
money
the
in Trinidad to do it.
huh?
People got the money in Trinidad, but a lot of times the vision and the money don't match. You
And the
know?
experience, because one thing I've learned is I used this analogy the other day, right? Like Ronaldo, you play football or follow football?
Yeah.
Right. So there's community football, right?
Yeah.
There's national football. And then there's the World Cup. The rules for community football is totally different from the rules in national football, which is totally different from the rules in the World Cup, right? And I'll use that analogy with respect to the music industry.
Yeah.
Let's say community football is the Zessin movement, Trapso, anything underground-ish that blew up, right? We kind of play by our own rules, as in we don't, like Young Rod and I and Mevon didn't play by how Soca Artists, we did our own marketing. Same thing with the Zessin artists. They release new music every week, you know? They don't just, they do whatever they want. But then there's the international rules, right? And there's playing World Cup. And it's a lot different, you know, in terms of from sound to quality to structure and organization. And there's some people who will not talk to you unless you have a proper manager or a proper agent or a proper team, a proper PR person. So that's what I'm saying. I think that's
very true.
That we can't even have conversations about the World Cup.
Right.
We still between community league and national level, you know?
Yeah.
And that's just the reality. So whether it's a Zessin artist, whether it's a Soca artist, whether it's a Trapso artist, unless we understand how to speak World Cup talk and understand how to play by World Cup rules, we're gonna stay in the community or stay national.
Right.
You know, and it depends on what you want.
Let me rebuttal you a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
So now, you know, we got independent artists dropping music on, you know, YouTube and Spotify, and you know, I'm not even an artist, but I got like 2 tracks on Spotify. You know?
Right. Yeah.
With that power and, you know, capital and the right amount of influence, I think people could do it, and they could make quick money. You remember, like KMC was talking about how he made quick money on the cassettes.
Yeah.
Right. I think that they could do it, but they're never gonna become as they can become as big as maybe Marshall or Pitbull. You know what I mean? But without
I was gonna say this is not to knock Marshall at all, because I have mad respect for Marshall and I'm a huge fan of Marshall, but Marshall and Pitbull are 2 different levels of artists globally.
Right. Yeah.
And I think and Marshall would say that himself, you know.
Yeah.
Now Marshall is the hands down the biggest artist to ever come out of Trinidad and Tobago, right? Like born in Trinidad, like Trini, right? And he's the best, like he is the #1 soca artist, no matter what people want to say. But then when you go into the global music market, he is known. He's known in the industry, but he may not be known by people, right?
No. You know who people know? People know Kevin Little. Kevin Little is the biggest soca artist.
Right.
For people.
And I think that's interesting, because I think people know the song more than the person.
Right. Yeah.
So if it is, and this, I say this, I'm not knocking anybody, right? Like if Kevin Little walk down the road in LA, people are not gonna stop him.
True.
But if his song comes on in the club, everybody's gonna be like, I love this song.
Yeah.
And I think that it depends on what you want as an artist, and we still don't have anybody who is an international soca artist, as in recognized internationally, and the music is an international hit. Right. You know, I mean, KMC was on the way. That's the interesting thing. You know, like KMC, from what I heard, he was working with some really huge names. You know, so I mean, the new generation of soca artists are very promising. I'm cool with a lot of them, but I think that they're following what they saw before in many ways. They're trying to be different.
Know what?
Yeah.
I mean, but that's soca though, right?
Yeah.
Bungie, I think Bungie, a lot of people know Bungie, but not necessarily as a soca artist. They know him sort of like a Caribbean artist, you
Like a
know, a
vocalist,
big
right?
Caribbean
Right.
artist or a big side B artist. You know,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
when I was I see Hands Up
Jungle
destroyed.
Bay, right,
I went to Diplo. Diplo came to Alaska
right.
and he destroyed a whole block with hands up, hands up. Everybody know let me see hands up. You know,
That's
destroyed
but
it.
that, and that's crazy. Yeah, you know that like that's I always say that's Bungie's biggest song, but it's his
Yeah,
least lyrical song, which is funny, right?
yeah.
Because
His least.
Bungie's the lyrical like the boss, right?
Yeah,
But his most popular song globally is his least lyrical song,
right. Yeah,
you know? So it's kind of interesting. And then it's like, I think that the song is still bigger than the artist, you know, in terms of the global, sphere and stuff. Like, I've been to so many places and heard that song, and I'm excited, like from Trinidad, taking on my phone, tagging Bungie, you know. But to the average person, like, we need to have a real conversation about this. That the average person does not know who that artist is, and I think marketing is a weakness in from Trinidad music industry, and I think that that's where these Zestin artists are at the forefront. They're doing exceptionally well with marketing because they are releasing multitude, like Soca artists release one video or two videos a year if you're lucky, right? The average
right.
Soca artist. These Zestin artists release one or two videos a month on average, right?
Wow.
So
You see, and then
yeah,
there's the appeal. There's the appeal of right. If I see a man in front of a Benz with big gold chains and stuff, right?
right,
I would say, well, all right, I could give him a couple of minutes of my time because obviously he worked hard somehow to get that, right? And glorify that, right? So a soca artist tends to be more towards the reggae roots side, you know, like they ain't gonna be wearing a bunch of jewelry or nothing, or you know, they're gonna be on a on a chill vibes, right? On
right.
a festival vibe. And that's where it's a different kind of marketing where, you know, they need more backing or they need to take it upon themselves to go and, you know, link with people overseas and put on a festival, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
and I think that's the interesting thing. So, for example, I'm performing in this event tomorrow, right? I'm
yeah,
sure most people who follow me on Instagram have no idea who any of those people are, right?
yeah,
On the flyer, but in their world, you know, the guy who is doing the concert is a big deal, you know.
right.
So it's like soca artists need to start venturing out beyond. If it is,
Yes.
it depends on what you want. If it is that you want to stay playing community or national football, by all
Yeah.
means do it and be the best community or national footballer that ever was. If it is you want to make it to the World Cup, you're gonna have to play by different rules and train differently and
Yes.
strategize differently.
It's a
And I
different
think
beast. Different
it's
beast.
different. It's different.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody has successfully done that from Trinidad as yet. You know, we
But
have,
you know,
yeah,
I think that we have, okay, for instance, right, I saw that there's this thing called Tech Teach,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. My brethren's behind it, Kai Maloney and them.
And we have, I think we have all the ingredients. We
Right.
have all the ingredients. We could do in Trinidad. I always say in Trinidad, people got money and people got time. Two of the most freaking valuable things, money and
Right.
time. You know, if soca artists say, oh, you know what, I'm gonna target, you know, certain festivals, and I'm gonna, you know, get the biggest promoters from those festivals. I'm gonna get all the biggest artists. I'm gonna bring them to Trinidad, and I'm gonna, you know, like do them, you know, give them that Trini love. You know, give
Right.
them,
Right.
you know, they're gonna they're gonna come back and they're gonna say, you know what, I gotta bring that back with me. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
you know, so this, you know, and they're gonna play those tunes that they heard when they were in a band, drinking a carrot, eating a, you know, a roti, doubles, whatever. You know, they're gonna want to feel that vibes because I get people that hit me up or message me and say, "Oh man, I didn't know there was some soca over on you know in the Pacific Northwest." and they'll be
Right.
like, "Oh, my husband or my girlfriend or whoever was Trinidadian or they was Jamaican, and they brought me to a party one time, and you know what I
Right.
mean." And that's how they want to remember that, you
Of course,
know.
of course. Well,
And
yeah, I
yeah,
would
so
say this. Like, a lot of A&Rs come to Trinidad for Carnival. I've met
yeah,
some of them, right? Um, the Black American industry is very much connected with Caribbean because most African and Black Americans have Caribbean roots, you know,
right,
and a lot of people in the music industry have Jamaican roots, Trini roots, Bajan roots. Um, they want to connect with where their parents are from, grandparents are from,
yeah,
so they come for Carnival. And listen, I have like Marshall brother YG. YG's manager, I know him personally. He is Sycamore. He's Trini. Um, I think Anderson Park's manager was here two years ago. I've met Neo's manager. I've met people from there's I know this lady who's from Def Jam who comes every year. But exactly what you say, there are people who come here and love the vibe. But when you go back to the boardroom and try to explain to people what soca is or carnival is, it hasn't worked yet. I don't want to say it will never work because I think that I'm very optimistic. I want to see soca reach the next level, but it hasn't translated into a product
no.
that could be marketed in America yet. And
The
that's fine.
money,
Yeah.
I can tell you from a promoter that's, all the way on this side, where it's a desert for for soca
For
and the
soca,
people
right, right.
that follow the soca. There's multiple things that happen, right? Um, when I'm trying to put on an event, I'm trying to do multiple things, right? I don't want it to be, when I put the soca on it, I don't want it to be like some rundown club or some
Yeah.
club that's in the back, back alley. I don't want to do that. I want it to be in a nice place. So
Right.
okay, so first thing, so my expenses are already going up, right? Because I want it to be in a nice place. Now I gotta go and market and really try to get people to come to the event, so that I'm making money on liquor and I'm making money at the door and all that stuff. And the granular type of marketing you got to do, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
It costs a lot of money just to get, because you don't get someone's attention unless they see it like 21 times, right?
Of course, of course.
So in a city like this where there's probably like maybe 500 Caribbean people or maybe 1,000 Caribbean people, but they got other stuff going on in their lives.
Yeah, yeah.
You got an extra market to get them to
Get them,
come out.
get them to attend. I hear you. I
You
definitely hear
know,
you.
so for me, what my thing is, I try to connect with the people who are movers and shakers in big companies. You
Right.
know, and usually they could connect with even though someone's not from the Caribbean, because they're a big mover and shaker, they're gonna come out because you know whoever is, like most Trinidadians or most Caribbean people, doing really well in whatever field that they're doing. Because I mean I know so many professionals, right, that are from Trinidad. I think I know at least 4 doctors here
Right.
that are from Trinidad, right? And so it's usually their network. So it's a lot of network effects, right? Getting one
Yeah, no,
person.
listen, and one of my friends, Olu, he came to one of your events, and same thing, like he's Nigerian, and he
Right.
works Microsoft, and he loved the vibe. He told me it's cool. It's building, it's something different. So he was just happy to
Right.
experience that vibe. And I told my friend
Yeah.
Michelle, who's an artist as well in Seattle, and she said as soon as COVID is finished and you have your event, she's coming and bringing friends. So,
Right.
but I
'Cause,
understand, like in terms of like for you to throw a soca level party or think of another bit like Jam Naked or any of those kind of events, Red Ants, it's gonna be difficult just because it's soca is underground in Seattle, right?
Right.
And, yeah,
I'm trying to see like what's his name? Private Ryan, right?
right.
I think that what's the name of the big event that he does again?
Soca
Soca
brainwash,
Brainwash, right?
right?
That's like the perfect thing to do out, you know, out here in a lot in Washington, in Seattle, you know,
Right. Washington,
because
yeah.
I remember I was coming through customs because I actually made it to Carnival this year, right?
Right.
Before COVID, you know, and
Right.
someone in front of me was coming from Toronto, and he was like, "Yeah, I come in, you know, just to go to that event, you know."
Yeah.
And people from I think somebody from Germany or something, like they were like, "Yeah, I'm coming just to go to that event," you know. So there's the people that got the, you know, the funds, you know, they got the capital to go to different places just to experience that, you know. But
Yeah.
it's just
Get
creating
it.
enough noise, you know, for them to intercept it and be like, all right, and putting on a good enough show that they're gonna want to take a plane and come down from Vancouver. Because for me, it's Vancouver, you know.
Right.
Because I remember back in 2011, you know, I was living closer to the uh, Canadian border,
Right.
and I drove up to Vancouver and DJ. They used to have something called Caribbean Days, right? And that shit was packed. And they had Chanel Dempster.
Wow, so now that
Yeah,
stuff. That's
yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
And I remember I mashed up the park playing Powder Puff. You know,
Wow. Yeah.
Puff,
Yeah.
Puff, and it was like it was bad. It was wicked. You know.
No, that's interesting. It's like there is a market for Caribbean music in this. Like I'll give you. I went to do some business in LA, and I was in a bank, and I was talking to this Spanish chick, and she asked me. She was like, "Where can I go to a Caribbean night in LA?" Right?
Yeah.
And they don't like. There's this. They are Jamaican dancehall ones, but there's no soca. There's no real soca events consistently in LA. But there is pockets of people, as you say, like who are professionals who want to experience different culture, heard about it. But
Right.
I think it would take, as you say, like DC is, Washington is probably a good place because you have the Morehouse Howard fraternity.
Well, remember I'm in state. I'm in Washington State.
Oh, so what's the geography like there? What's the?
So I'm like all the way on the West Coast.
Oh, so Washington State is not.
Yeah, Washington
Oh,
State
okay,
is.
okay.
Yeah, we're close. We're closer to California. Is below us. You know.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
then, well, even so, if you do something there, you might get the people like California. The thing is, I think California people are so chill. They like reggae.
Oh, we got one. We got 1 minute.
Oh, we have 1 minute again. Yeah.
Let's come back. When I come back, let's talk about Pronto and
Yeah.
how
Yeah,
it's
man.
going and things. All right.
Sounds good. Yeah, man.